Hi guys, how are you doing? I like to play D&D, and I have kids who like to play D&D. But when I try to find videos online for them to watch to learn about D&D, they weren't always kid appropriate. So I'm going to do a series of videos that hopefully introduce Dungeons and Dragons that 10-year-olds can watch, because that's what I have at home is a couple of 10-year-olds that are playing D&D with me. So first off, I want to describe what Dungeons and Dragons is. Dungeons and Dragons D&D is a role play game. So it's not bound by the rules of a board game that you have to move across by moving so many steps and then flipping a card over and doing what it says. It's much more open to what you want to do. A lot more creativity can be there. Now you still roll dice and there are still rules, but there's a lot of fun stuff that can happen within the D&D world. So I want to first show you this thing here. It's the Player's Handbook. Now, it's a big book to read, okay? No doubt about it. But there are smaller readers that you can get that have some of the detail, but doesn't go into as much detail, obviously, as the full player edition. Now, the full player edition is for all players. These smaller readers are for just more for kids. Okay, so you're going to set up a character on a character sheet. Now, there's character sheets can look in a couple of different ways, or like this. Okay, where you're going to put in your stat scores and you're going to write in your special abilities, and this is kind of like what you keep with you. This is who your character is on paper. You track how much gold they have, their magical items, how much damage, what weapons they have, what special abilities they have. You write that all down on your character sheet. Okay, oftentimes they're double-sided and they'll have a lot of information. So you're going to create a character using the Player's Handbook. You're going to choose that character's race, like is it an elf or a dwarf or a gnome or a halfling or a dragonborn. You're going to choose that character's class. Is it a fighter? Is it a paladin? Is it a rogue or a ranger or a wizard, a sorcerer? Is it a druid or a monk? So you're going to find something that you want to play that really connects with you, especially in your first games. If you're a friend of My Hero Academia and Deku, then you might want to play a monk, because they get a lot of punching and kicking power. Find something that's fun for you to play first. After you find a character that you want to play, its class and its race, then maybe start thinking how they're going to behave. Are they going to be one that wants to be the hero and always do what's right? Do you want someone who maybe could be the hero, but their methods of getting things done may not always be on the up and up, might be kind of shady? As long as they're shooting for the right goal, they might be kind of sneaky about getting there. Or you can have a character that's just kind of mean. And all those options are available in Dungeons and Dragons. So once you get a character sheet and you have a character and a class and a alignment and a race, then you get to roll ability scores. I'll teach you how to do that in another video. But you get to roll ability scores, and that tells you how strong you are. So like dexterity is DEX on your paper. Dexterity is how kind of nimble and quick you are, and how good you are at shooting bows and crossbows. Also, how good are you at dodging away from damage. Strength is how strong you are. Now, it might be how much damage you do with an axe, as opposed to dexterity is how much damage you do with a bow or a dagger. Constitution is CON. It's how healthy you are, and it matters for your hit points. And hit points is how much you like your life points, your life bar. And then there's intelligence. That is how much you know. It's good for wizards to have a high intelligence. You have wisdom that goes along with stats like perception. That's like how much can you pick out and see about the environment. What do you sense, or what do you know without actively looking at it? And finally, the last stat is charisma, and that's kind of your force of your will or your willpower, or how good you are at talking to other people. You know, if you go to the marketplace and you want to get a discount on a new sword, you'd use charisma to roll to see if you get a discount right. Okay, so that's really the basics of D&D. I want to keep these videos relatively short. So when we start out D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, or other games similar to that, you'll pick a class, a race, you'll roll ability scores, you'll pick your alignment and your starting equipment, which is outlined in the player handbook. All right, I'm signing off. I hope you guys enjoy Dungeons and Dragons as much as I do.